Nigeria has been dubbed the giant of Africa. It is the largest oil-producing country on the continent. It is also one of the poorest and the most corrupt nations in the world. There was the $7 billion scam in the year 2011. It was a fraud perpetrated at government level, one that involved the state-owned company, several oil marketers, and key government ministries. This fraud was possible because of several loopholes that had been inserted to enable and promote looting on an inordinate scale. It was known as the Oil Subsidy Scheme, and it was essentially a scam scheme. This film, made by the younger generation, is about that oil subsidy scheme. It is about a culture of greed and corruption and its effects on the people. But it is also about a people of great resilience, a people who are finding their voice, who care deeply about their country and dare to ask for a better world for themselves.
Whether fuel subsidy or no fuel subsidy, but that fuel subsidy, in fact, they pinch us in our business promises, in fact, a lot of things. Because the market, if you go market now, the thing we bought 150, next time they tell you say 300 naira, additional of 150 on top. And you won't talk to your customer, they go say I enter motor from Karimo to Mabuchi, 500 now, which is not supposed. And now everything is have gone up, and because of that fuel subsidy, and we are Nigeria, and we are making the fuel in our Nigeria, which will surprise other people in other countries.
You see, government, they are not very, very straightforward with us, if I want to put it straight. Because if government would give people the authority to import fuel, and give them the money and they cannot deliver, we see no reason why they should play politics with it. They should just go ahead and arrest those that are involved in it and prosecute them. Government generally in Nigeria we don't have government. It's a whole big banana republic. You see, they've been coming telling us story all the time, deceiving us. And right now in our faces, they are still deceiving us because everything they told us during their campaigning promise, and when they are campaigning, they've not delivered on anything.
Of course, I'm angry because 500 naira something, you can't spend 2,000 naira or 2,500 naira. If you put it in your in your items, they will say, is it fuel subsidy? Only transport they know say there's a fuel subsidy. They cannot put anything again. There is not too much gain in our business now.
The fuel subsidy itself is a product of fraud and indolence on the part of the government.
It all began with oil, and Nigeria has a lot of it. Our refineries worked until the wrong hands took over and practically shut them down. Then, to meet our energy requirements, we decided to borrow from abroad. It is at this point our problems began. In the 80s, the government introduced fuel subsidy. This was to protect our standard of living. But it turned out to be a fraud. The fuel subsidy was meant to last 6 months. It has lasted 24 years. Year after year, and administration after administration, fuel prices have gone up. Now, after many decades, Nigerians are still living poor in a land of plenty. And the rains continue to beat us. Year after year, and administration after administration, money meant for the benefit of the people has been stolen and squandered. The legal term for this is misappropriation. Year after year, the Nigerian people are robbed blind. In 2011, the figure for fuel subsidy alone was over $6 billion. How much longer are we going to let this happen at the cost of our future and our children's future? At the end of 2011, there was a debate in Lagos between the government and civil society over the increasing cost of fuel subsidy payments. The government was pushing for a complete removal of subsidy on petroleum products, which would drive fuel prices up. The people, represented by civil society, were against this, as the government was not offering any meaningful solution to the expected rise in the cost of living.
Is there a subsidy? Yes, there is. In 2003, the government took away the discount that NNPC was getting when it went to buy crude on the open market, and instead ensured that NNPC bought at global crude prices. At the same time, it asks that NNPC give a discount for the products that the refineries refined and put on the market.
We feel that the present subsidy we have now does not work for the poor in our society. And that's why we want to shift the resources to help them. So please, I just want to say to you, as Nigerians, that we are going in the direction that Femi Falana, Ben Bruce, my brother Olisa Bakoba have outlined. And that is to work for the poorer members of our society.
We are looking not, in fact, at necessarily a subsidy removal. If you want to call it, it is actually a subsidy transfer, because we are looking at real benefits to the economy and to Nigerians that can be handed over to Nigerians, and that all Nigerians across the spectrum will feel and see from the get-go.
They didn't particularly agree on many points.
You need to pay salaries. Women are dying every day in childbirth. Children are dying of malaria. People are dying of AIDS. You need roads. You need petroleum subsidy. Please give me your hierarchy of priorities.
What he's trying to say is, come. By the time I said to Obasanjo's people, I said to Bibi's people, I said to my people, I said to your new people, good luck. I said to this one, I said that money will not be enough because the subsidy is not for nothing. It's just money that they put together to fool everybody in anticipation that, oh, they are going to do something with it.
Africa has to begin to chart its own course and develop in its own way. I mean, this Okonjo-Iweala woman came to say we have to stop subsidy. The only social service our government provides to its people is the fuel subsidy. What does she know about Omolanke Pusha and how he's surviving? That she wants to increase fuel and say that Nigerians have to sacrifice more. Nigerians have sacrificed everything. There's nothing left to sacrifice. I'm sorry, Mrs. Okonjo-Iweala. We have nothing else to sacrifice. You know, it's the government's turn to sacrifice some things.
What they did agree on, however, was that government should take adequate measures before the subsidy was removed on the 1st of April, 2012. On the 1st of January 2012, President Jonathan announced the removal of subsidy on petroleum products. What followed next was one of the biggest protests in Nigeria's history.
The government kept deceiving the people and saying, we're not going to remove subsidy. Definitely not anytime now.
The president pulled a good one on us, 1st of January, boom.
A day when Nigerians were in a celebratory mood, a day when people were looking at a new future in the new year and thinking, this year has to be better. And the very first thing you do is to cut their income by 50%. Right there, without any special movie, magic, boom.
We are in village. And everybody don't prepare to go village. And you know, so normal thing, when you reach your village, you have to show, as in either Abuja or Port Harcourt or Lagos, after everything, to go back, it comes difficult for us. They say they don't add fuel subsidy, and the fuel don't have money. And we have to manage ourselves, and we struggle. Some sell our watch, shoe, phones, to go back to your destiny, where we used to find the money, you know. It's just like that. Without no need, without notice, without no information, nothing. We just hear fuel subsidy just like that. But we thank God, nobody passed God.
We suffered a lot during that January time. I paid 4,500 from here to Zuba to go and carry my plantain. When I come back, I didn't make it. When I try, I go back again, 2,500 from here to Monday Market. I couldn't make it at all. But how are we going to do? We are managing. It's too much.
Everybody don't tire, and not really me tire for sufferness. How sufferness is not a tired person.
Via social media, we got people to come out, and the turnout was extraordinary.
Then the uprising in Libya and Tunisia and Egypt was just ending. And we will feel that in Nigeria, this is our time for us to do ours and come out successful.
Greatest Nigerian people! Yes! I say we cannot agree to fuel subsidy removal. We cannot agree to corruption. Our children don't fit go school. Jonathan won't chop 1 billion. Our children don't fit go school. He won't drive 280 million naira car. We don't fit agree.
The first night where we were on the streets at Eagle Square and the soldiers came to attack the people on the streets. Everybody ran into the bush, tear gas was fired, and people disappeared everywhere.
A gabana jami'an tsaro sun harbi mutum biyu har lahira yanzu. Waɗansu sun harbi mutum a bakin shiga gidan Gamen House. Suna nan suna harba mutane. Yanzu kai.
I lost my glasses, people were hurt and injured. And then 5 minutes later, we regrouped and stood on the streets and started singing the national anthem. That for me was a defining moment.
That incident reminded me of one thing. We have a quasi-democratic process in place. There's a civilian at the helm of affairs, but there's a military attitude underneath. If it was during Obasanjo's regime, Daisy Alice Madueke for increasing fuel price until the investigator will have been suspended as a minister.
This government will not inflict pains on ourselves. This government is a government elected by ordinary Nigerians. We will offend God if we do things to bring perpetual pain to Nigerians.
We give all the best we can for this government to be installed. Yet, after the selection of this government, there's no time we are insecure like this time. There's no time Nigerians are unsafe like this time. There's no time we experience hardship like this time.
The 10-day protest came to an end in an anticlimactic fashion. 13 people were reported dead, and the labor unions were considered to have sold out to the government. The protest did catch the attention of the world, and while arguably successful, it came with its fair share of casualties, one of who was Ademola Aderingbe.
Ìgbà tí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ yẹn tó ṣẹlẹ̀, inú ilé ni mo wà. Mi ò sí níta because wọ́n ní kí anybody má jáde lọ́jọ́ yẹn. So inú ilé mi wà, èmi kàn gbọ́ ariwo ládùúgbò bí mi ṣe jáde nìyẹn. mo ṣàwárí táwọn èèyàn ń sá eré mo ṣe wá dé junction bí báyìí nìyẹn mo wá rí pé wọn láwọn ọlọ́pàá ti yìnbọn fún àwọn èèyàn o pé àwọn tó ń yìnbọn fún gan pé wọ́n ti rush wọn lọ sí general hospital èmi dẹ̀ wá sí shop mò ń gbà tí mo dẹ̀ wá dé shop lẹ́nìí kan wá sọ fún mi pé ṣé mo rí pé ìbọn ti ba àbúrò mi náà ni mo ní láíláí mo ṣe gbé machine mi nìyẹn bá lọ sí general hospital mò ń gbà tí mo máa débẹ̀ yẹn òkú ẹ̀ ni mo bá in fact ìgbà tí mo tó délé mo tó mọ̀ pé mo ṣì wà láì pé mo ṣì jẹ́yàn because àwọn èèyàn kan gbé mi kúrò bẹ́ẹ̀ tí mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí yíra mọ́lẹ̀ nígbà tí mo rí Démọ́lá tó ti kú. nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé Démọ́lá ilé dáàdì mi ló ti kọ́ṣẹ́ nígbà tó dẹ̀ ń kọ́ṣẹ́ tèmi ti máa travel lọ sílé máa sọ fún pé tó bá ti parí iṣẹ́ pé kó máa wọrí kó máa tẹ̀lé mi wá ṣèkó òun náà máa wá ṣiṣẹ́ dẹ̀ ìgbà tí mo dẹ̀ parí iṣẹ́ mi tí mo wá fẹ́ ṣe freedom ya 2006 mo dẹ̀ mú wá ṣèkó so láti ìgbà yẹn ló ti wà pẹ̀lú mi ó dẹ̀ ń bá mi ṣiṣẹ́ ṣọ́ọ̀bù bíbá yẹn náà lájọ wa tàtújọ ń ṣiṣẹ́ ó jẹ́ ọmọ kan tó níwà tó dáa kò ń ṣe ọmọ oníjẹ̀gbọ̀n kò ń ṣe ọmọ tó ń fa wàhálà rárá lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ ó wà àdùn ọkàn ó ń múṣẹ́ lọ́kùnkúndùn irú gan-an nígbà tó bá rí pé kò ṣiṣẹ́ ńlẹ̀ ó máa gun ọ̀kadà lọ ó lẹ́nìkan tó gbé ọ̀kadà fún láyé pọ̀sís ó dẹ̀ sanwó ẹ̀ lẹ́yìn tí ó bá ti ṣiṣẹ́ ńlẹ̀ ó máa gbé ọ̀kadà yẹn ó máa fi ṣiṣẹ́ lọ. nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé èmi àti ẹ̀ tábàjọ wà ń bíbá yìí tábàjọ ń sọ̀rọ̀ èdè Olúwa nìkan la máa ń sọ so gbogbo ìgbà ni mo dẹ̀ fi máa ń rántí ẹ̀ so tábà ti jọ ń sọ èdè Olúwa yẹn gbogbo àwọn tó bá wà ní ẹgbẹ́ wa gan máa ń rẹ́rìn so nǹkan tí mo fi ń fìlẹ̀ nìyẹn ṣèbí torí sọ́sídì yẹn náà ni Démọ́lá náà ṣe kú àwọn ọlọ́pàá ló yìnbọn fún wọn ti da ẹjọ́ yẹn wọ́n ní ẹjọ́ yẹn ṣe wà ń court.
Once again, let me assure Nigerians that the essence of this whole exercise is to ensure that we look into the entire issue of subsidy that has become very topical to Nigerians, and to ensure that in a factual manner we present the issues as they are, and we recommend positions to the House of Representatives that will improve the efficiency, the transparency, the accountability, and the openness of the entire system.
One of the more direct responses to the protest was a probe carried out by the Nigerian lower house to investigate the fuel subsidy. With over 100 testimonies and 3,000 documents submitted, the results were staggering.
And nothing but the truth. So help me God. So help me God.
We are really interested in finding out all the facts about this subsidy issue, including any issues of corruption or wrongdoing, because the objective is that we must all clear this out as Nigerians.
In December 2011, and this is a vessel of PMS, and the importer here is NNPC. So even the issue that NNPC has stopped importation, this document here has something to the contrary. NNPC is still importing in our name.
We give crude rather than sell the crude, take the money and buy product. We give crude, and the value of that crude is converted into the product that we require, and then we bring it back.
Over 1 trillion naira of Nigeria's wealth was mismanaged by the state-run oil company, the NNPC, and the Petroleum Regulatory Agency, PPPRA.
You requested that we should give you more time so that you can get some of the technical issues. I therefore wish to invite you to please proceed with your presentation.
We ended up with a figure of 1.43 trillion for what we have been able to pay so far. And that figure is based on a consumption of 35 million liters of PMS and 10 million liters of kerosene.
The issue is that these figures are irreconcilable as of now. Now, are you telling us that the country does not know the actual amount it has spent on subsidy as of this date?
He said, I'm more concerned by the honorable member's assertion that a number of these companies are saying where I reported 27, they are reporting 58. I'm very, very much concerned about it. But in terms of physical payment. CBN cannot have a different figure because the figure CBN is reporting is figure from my office.
It is natural, I presume and assume, that if someone is giving you a figure that stops at August, and someone gives you a figure that stops in October, that there will be differences in numbers.
There were conflicting figures in how much the government spent on subsidy, and there was an astonishing level of fraud, forgery, neglect, and bad management by both the government and the oil marketers. And while many lauded the subsidy probe report, it was marred by the bribery allegations brought against the chairman of the probe panel. Corruption is a way of life in Nigeria and has been a constant plague since our independence 52 years ago. The public service caters to private pockets, and the upper class in society is predominantly made up of politicians and civil servants, the so-called ruling elite.
Another way to continue their crooked ways. Oh yes, them bobo your mama, them bobo your papa. Them bobo your mama, them bobo your papa, like them bobo your grandmama, them bobo your grandpapa, them bobo the market women, them bobo you journalists, the human rights activists, in the name of democracy, them bobo your mama, them bobo your papa, them bobo your mama.
Sadly, the bribery allegation is not uncommon in Nigeria, as the people who are meant to fight for justice and equality are the same people that steal from the country. A vicious, unending cycle.
The current Otedola Lawan Farouk face-off is a clearly calculated attempt to rubbish that report so that Nigerians will be distracted from calling for the prosecution of thieves who have stolen that money to now begin to talk about the petty $620,000 that Farouk Lawan was alleged to have taken away. Make no mistake about it. Two crimes are involved. Yes, Farouk Lawan needs to be prosecuted if he actually took that bribe. But at the same time, we must not ever let our eyes to veer off from the ball, from the overall goal, which is to rein in this cabal. This set of thieves, this set of felons who should be occupying prison cells, but who have constituted themselves into a ruling elite with their private sector collaborators.
This thing that pains me most there is that after looking at the case, they die it.
And when they get you for market, thief market, then we go put you for jail. But those people that call themselves minister, all those and this and this and that, they are there. We can carry biro and thief our money and know anything. The only thing we hear it on news, hear it on paper, but after everything, what is the punishment? Nothing.
We've seen corruption move from millions to billions to trillions. And so it's quite disappointing.
Until Nigerians will come and say no to this kind of leadership we are seeing. For the past, from independence till today, we've not had any good leadership. It's high time we come out and tell our leaders that we are ready to even lay our lives down. That is the only time we'll achieve headway.
For sure, I'm angry. Since 10 o'clock, I'm in the queue. How can I be happy since 10 o'clock? I did not work. Till now, what is the time now? It's after 4 to 5 now. So I can't be happy. We, the poor ones, we don't have any useful things to give to them. Those who are supposed to give to us, they are not giving us. So what are we going to do? So that is why, like me now, I'm a graduate and I'm still pushing this one. So you see that I cannot leave this one because I don't have what to do. If I have a job now, I will not be going with Tezi. But I have to do this to survive.
So what we go do now? We don't get power now. We are only praying that God will see us through, because we cannot fight them. They are more than us. So, but we pray that one day God will touch them so that they will remember us, be the poor ones. Now, my brother, the thing is becoming too bad. Sometimes our rulers make us to feel bad because I don't see the reason why we have fuel, but we keep on suffering about fuel issue.
As seen with the protest, the people realize that the power to change the status quo is in their hands. What they do with this power remains to be seen.
I'm quite confident that things will never be the same in this country. Nigerians now know that if we're mobilized, they can send packing those who have continued to multiply poverty in the land.
Yesterday, then tell us, say today, now we go again, so we struggle, suffer day for this new democratic change, but the truth of the matter be, say, them disguise another way to continue their crooked ways. Oh yes, them bobo your mama, them bobo your papa, them bobo your mama, them bobo your papa, like them bobo your grandmama, them bobo your grandpapa, them bobo the market women, them bobo you journalists, the human rights activists, in the name of democracy, them bobo your mama, them bobo your papa, them bobo